Like school, e-learning.
This is an integrated speaking campus task. Integrated speaking campus task, which means that it's a task that happens on a college campus, on an American college campus, and you are required to read a bit of information and then listen to a conversation about the information you just read. Now, this information is coming to us from two sources. The first source is a letter to the editor, which is a letter that somebody like you or I would write to the newspaper to be published for other people to read. And usually these letters have an opinion of sorts. They want to express themselves with a wide audience. And the second one is a conversation, and we are asked to figure out what the man's opinion is about the letter to the editor. So we want to know the man's opinion and the letter to the editor's opinion. Now, with these sorts of questions, it's really good to, while you're speaking, you need to learn to ask yourself questions as you're speaking to answer later. A lot of my students will start off really strong and then just peter out, or stop talking because they only had the few seconds to prepare at the beginning, and that's not enough time to speak for the entire 60 seconds. So one of these things you need to get good at is asking yourself questions while you're speaking. And some good questions are who is talking, what. And here with the what, there's a change involved. The university has made a change in some way. And we're also, the what is an opinion. We're asking about the man's opinion. So we need to keep these two things in mind for what. When is this happening and why? Now, you won't always be able to answer these questions, but they are good to keep in mind for when you're speaking. Now, as I said, I like to start off my statements with my scripts with an overall or general statement or overview. And this overview, I need to understand what is going on in these two passages. And this one, the letter to the editor, is about a woman or is written by a woman who is really angry with the university for its policy, its change in policy. And we'll get to what the policy change is in a minute. And the man's opinion is that he thinks her anger is unjustified or not valid. So my general statement is the man, and CC is concerned citizen. The person who signed the letter to the editor wasn't a name. They didn't sign a name. They signed concerned citizen. And that is somebody who is a citizen, somebody who lives in the community, but who is concerned about what the change is. So that's what she named herself. The man and the concerned citizen have different opinions. That's my shorthand for opinions about the change, the university's policy change. So now we need to figure out what the policy change is. So here the change is that there are no dogs allowed on campus, or they are prohibited. Dogs are prohibited from being on campus after 6 p.m., after 6 o'clock at night. So now that we know what they're talking about, and we know the man and the woman have different opinions, we need to figure out what these opinions are. So we start off with a letter to the editor by the concerned citizen. Now, I like to figure out one word to describe the woman's opinion, or the concerned citizen's opinion. And the word I came up with was outraged, which is very angry. She is very angry with this university's decision, and she has several reasons for being so angry, so outraged. First reason is she is in class till 6 p.m. She's in class till 6 p.m., which means this is at the same time that dogs have to leave. They have to be off campus by 6 p.m. But she's in class till 6 p.m., which means she can't walk her dog on campus. So she writes this very angry letter. Then, and she offers a solution, that all dogs could be on leashes. She thinks that this will solve the concern of the university, that dogs bother people. So if you put all dogs on leashes, that should solve the problem, and she could still be able to walk her dog after 6 p.m. Now, after that, we listen to a man's opinion. And the man is talking about this letter to the editor. And he thinks the anger of the woman, her anger is unfounded. Unfounded means that it's not based on anything. It's not legitimate. It's sort of silly that she's that angry because there's no reason to be that angry. And here I have the reason one for her anger being unfounded, R1. First of all, it's not the university's fault that she's in class till 6 p.m. The university didn't force her. No one forced her to take the class till 6. So here's my R1, my reason 1, not the university's fault. And I'm going to explain this a bit more. No one forced her to take a class that late. He also has another reason for believing that the concerned citizen is sort of silly for being so angry. And that is, there are other places besides campus to walk your dog. You know, there are other places. There are streets. There are other parks that are off campus. So campus is not the only place. Campus is not the only place for her to walk her dog. It is easy for her to be able to walk her dog off campus. Then he addresses her solution. Remember, her solution is all dogs should be on leashes. But over here in this pink, I said opposes solution. This is my shorthand because I can't write all of it on the board. So he opposes her solution. Still, he believes that even if dogs are on leashes, people will tie them to street posts or benches by their leash. A leash is like a collar. So the dogs will still bother people. So this won't solve the university's problem of dogs bothering people. And he also pushes that further by saying this policy is for the benefit of everyone. It's better for everyone as a whole to have no dogs on campus at all than to have dogs on leashes after 6 p.m. And this woman is just going to be angry, and there's no real way to make her not be angry because this change that the university set up in place is for the benefit of everyone. So when you're going over your response, try to answer those questions of who, what, in this case where it's the change, the university change, and the opinion, when and why. As you can see, we didn't really get to the when in this question because it wasn't really necessary. In the letter to the editor, we learned that the university is prohibiting dogs on campus after 6 p.m. and the woman is outraged at this policy change because she is in class till 6. The man's opinion is that her anger is unfounded. Now, in this format, generally my students will say the man disagrees with the woman or the man agrees with the concerned citizen, and this is not really what the question is asking. His opinion is not, I disagree with her. His opinion is, her opinion is unfounded. This is a good policy change. So he's in favor of the policy change. And he believes this because the university made the change for the benefit of everyone, and no one forced her to take classes till 6. So if she had another schedule, she could still walk her dog on campus. So that's a good way to sort of figure out how to structure your script by trying answering these questions and putting the two pieces of information in a category, the concerned citizen's letter and the man's opinion. And then you'll see that they fit together. The man will always be talking, or the conversation will always be about the reading passage. So it's your job to relate, to put the pieces together, as you could say, like a puzzle. Relate his his conversation to the information that you find here. So it's important to get as much information as you can from the letter. And you'll see with my response is I put those pieces of information together like that. So take a look.